Disability is just a stereotype. The mind is the ability of human being. And today, this episode, we are looking at disability vis-a-vis the work profession, vis-a-vis the relationship, vis-a-vis what society thinks and how it welcomes the disabled. Now, our guest today is Lydia Abenaitwe, who is the Disability Inclusion Officer. Let's meet our guest and the show gets going. It's a beautiful Sunday, told you 5 to 6 p.m. The hashtag is hashtag her moment. And once again, I am your host of the day, Asha Cool. So my social medias, that is at Rico TV Uganda on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Rico TV Uganda. And of course, as earlier introduced, she is Lydia Abenaitwe, Light for the World Disability Inclusion Officer. Let's welcome our guest and enjoy her story. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Asha, and thank you for having me.
For starters, going through your story, it was such an interesting one, such a touching story that there is a point where I want to start from before we even get to know who Lydia is. We're talking about the Uber business.
Well,
so unique, something that is extraordinary, something that I cannot believe. Okay, let's start it there.
Well, first as a woman, we have our needs and we just can't sit back and wait for other people to help us meet our needs. So there I was. I did not have a job, having lost my job about 3 years before I started my Uber business. Then I started thinking of ways I could earn a living, and then I said, I have a car, I can just go and drive it and earn a living from it. So I went to Uber and registered and I started my work. I had a thrilling experience. I got my needs met. I met exciting people, and I think they will continue, some of them will continue to be my friends. It was really a good ride.
When you say you had a car, seems you come from a very rich family. I mean, we're talking about life after campus, right?
Yes.
Then seems you come from a very rich family. Who is Lydia?
Well, that is far, far, far from the truth. I don't come from a rich family. I come from a rural family with peasant parents, but who believed in the education of children, and they did everything possible to make sure that we all went to school. And first of all, I being a child with a disability, everyone around always told my parents, you can't waste your money on a child with a disability. But my father always believed in one thing. He always said, others can dig, others can walk around, others can be housemaids in other people's houses and earn a living, but for you can only earn from a pen. Mm-hmm. So he disregarded the advice that many people gave to him not to waste his money to send a girl with a disability to school, and he sent me to school nonetheless. He always paid my school fees first. Much as I didn't go to all the good schools around, I went to ordinary schools.
What schools are we talking about?
I went to Bijara Secondary School in Ibanda District. Then I went to Chibura Girls for my A-level.
Wow.
Okay. I never knew I would meet my OG here. So, and from Chibura Girls, I went to Makerere University, where I did a bachelor's degree in social work and social administration. I looked for a job I couldn't find for a long time. I did internship here and there. And then I through my internship experiences, that is when I got my first job. Internship actually. Still internship at Kanjicha Street with an organization for persons with disabilities. I worked there for about 6 months, and then I went for my master's degree at MOOMS. It was sponsored by the British Belgian Technical Corporation for 2 years. I finalized that. Then I got another job in another disabled people organization where I worked for a year. And then the project ended, and then I went through a program by Handicap International then, where they were giving internship opportunities to persons with disabilities in organizations. So I went for 3 months in an organization called International Health Sciences University. I did my internship for 3 months, and then I was retained as a human resource officer, where I worked for 4 years. Yes.
Wow. Indeed, when he said there's something you said about your dad. He says there is not going to be something you're going to rely on since you're disabled.
Yes.
It's only the pain that is going to rescue you.
Yes.
Let's take a look at your experience in school.
Yeah.
You've gone to schools like Chibubura Girls. I've been there, and I, for one, have not met any person in my study.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't meet any disabled child.
Yes.
So how was your experience like in school?
Well, starting off, when I was way too little, there is something about being different.
Mm-hmm.
You attract the wrong attention. The children bullied. At some point, I would say, I'm not going back to school because the children will bully me. Then one day I would stay at home. The next day my father would say, let's go back. Let's go back. What did I tell you? I told you you can only earn from a pen. You can't earn from a hole. So sometimes he would escort me to school, then have those little conversations with the school administration to speak to the children to be nicer to me. But all through my education, I had to ward off a lot of negative energy from the children. I never used to have genuine friends, all through maybe from primary up to after S4. I didn't fit in. It was really hard, and the facilities were really horrible. You have been in those schools, like you said, the facilities are very bad. The bathrooms are horrible. Like in my secondary school, there was no running water. I had to depend on the help of others. It was a journey that was really, really hard, but I had the support of my parents who always nudged me on, you can do it, and I'm really grateful to them. So it wasn't easy. Even at the university, it wasn't easy. Many times I would miss lectures because at some point you find the lecture room is here and then the next lecture is many kilometers away, and I couldn't really cope up. So I would attend one and then maybe walk to miss the next one and then attend the third. So you find at the end of the day it's really difficult. There were stairs at the university, some of which I could not contend with. So I would opt out, and then maybe after the lecture has ended, I ask some of my friends to
help you
out. To help me out and explain some of the things. But had the facilities been there, the environment very accessible, the lecturers understanding of the needs of persons with disabilities, I think I would have had better educational outcomes.
So in a summary,
Yes.
Looking at your experience, to summarize everything, how was that condition? The fact that you went to schools that did not have the facilities that consider you in your situation.
I didn't understand the question.
Okay, in a summary,
Yes.
how would you summarize the schools you went to, your experience in schools, despite the fact that, given there were no facilities that were favoring you in your situation?
Yes. It was hard. As other people were trying hard, for us we were trying hardest.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to make sure you get what everyone is getting, but with so much difficulty. So I had to cope somehow. I had to beg for help at some point. At some point when you would stop someone, ask for help, they'll say, that one. Children are growing up. They don't understand the things. It's not like I blame them or anything. Then at some point when I was at my A-level school, I decided not to go back to the dormitory. There came breaks when everyone would go back to the dormitory. But then I said, since the dining area is near the class, I'll just not go to the dormitory again to freshen up. I'll just go straight to the dining area and eat and then come back to class. So those are some of the things that I did. But then again, I also made sure that I did the best that I could to excel. I was always, like in my A-level, I was always the first in class.
Wow.
So that also kind of got me some friends.
And made you unique in a nature
In-
that friends
yes.
will want to be with you.
Yes, and
Wow.
then there were those teachers in that school who would always say, you can do it, you can do it. So that made it a lot easier for me to persevere through my education journey. I remember the most exciting experience was when I was read out in front of the whole school as being a very first person in class. That was S5. And then there was this teacher said, I am so proud of you. And he pulled out his hard-earned money and gave me a monetary reward for my efforts. And that was really, really good. And then when I finished my S6, there was another teacher, I can never forget him. He said, I understand your challenges, you finished your exams, I'm so happy for you. I'm not going to let you get onto a boda to go home, I'll drive you home. You can never forget such good people, and I think they are the reason why I carried forward, or despite the challenges that I was going through.
Well, someone watching would be wondering, we're talking about the disability.
Yes.
When was this? Were you born that way? Was it as a result of a natural? Someone would love to know, because it's an area, it's an arena where people would want to know how to avoid this, how to control this, or if they're given or born in a certain situation, this is how we handle it.
Well, as told by my mother, I was about 8 months old, and then she had delayed to get me have my polio shot, because where she was, it was very distant, and by the time the drugs got there, so she said, after some time she took me to the health center and they gave me a shot, and then I developed fever, and there were so many misconceptions around the whole thing. But eventually they settled to one diagnosis, that I had suffered polio, and because I had taken delayed to have the shot, that's why it became so bad. So that was at 9 months. I don't know what it feels like to walk. I miss it when I see other people walking, but I can't say that I have ever walked before, no. At 9 months I was too little, so I've lived with it all my life. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of touching, and many people today have written articles about you. The moment you park somewhere, a lady in a Subaru, and someone cannot believe, like, this car is over high speed and she is disabled. I mean, she has clutches. How can she? So how is that experience? When did you learn how to drive, and how is it many people take ages to get onto the wheel? And here we are, you even drive one of the most speedy cars.
The truth is,
I think we're gonna drive that after this short, quick commercial break. We'll be right back.